Babe, give him your mysterious face. Do it. Yes. Okay, now change it up. Give us a different mysterious face. Give another one.
Yeah, no, I only got the one. I got the one.
Yeah.
Hey, and welcome back to a new episode of Becker Answers after a little bit of a hiatus.
I had birthday week, so
Yes.
we took some time off.
Bobbie's a year older since the last time we talked to you, but she looks even better.
Amazing.
I think it's the lipstick.
I was feeling like fun summer lipstick right now.
It's kind of purplish.
It could be a fall lipstick, but it was feeling a little fruit punch. Something like that. Summery drink. Anyway.
Yeah, it works. I like it. Yeah, it feels fresh. And so today we have a question we will attempt to answer, and it's a broad question. Bobbie, what was our question?
So, Steve Okolowitz, who is a friend of ours from Cruises, he asked, what is
Very smart man.
Very smart man. Also my whale watching buddy. And he is a lecturer. And I guess technically Steve is the... what's your official title, Steve? The, I know all about ocean and marine life guy on the ship? Something like that? I don't know if it's oceanographer.
I think his
that.
expertise is like volcanology or something.
Vulcan? Like Star Trek?
No.
I'm pretty sure that's what that sounded like. Anyway, Steve's really smart.
Yes.
He knows a lot about ocean life, and he lectures in Alaska. And he sits up all day with me in what we call the Horizons Lounge on one specific cruise line. And we watch for whales and wildlife all day, and we have a great time. So anyway, Steve asked, what
was the hardest illusion that we've ever...
So he specifically said illusion.
Hard to learn.
Okay.
Was the phrasing.
Okay.
And it's an interesting question because sometimes it's harder for one of us more than the other. So we might have very different answers to that question.
Although we discussed it a little bit, and we both agree, we were part of a big production show at one point in time that incorporated magic in the show.
No spoken word.
No spoken word. So it was, singers and dancers, but the singers were not singing, like familiar songs. It was more sort of Cirque du Soleil-esque.
Very much.
Right.
Yeah.
So we discussed that there was actually an illusion in that show that it was extremely difficult for me to learn. That I was injured regularly. So much so that I had a knot of scar tissue on my body from performing this trick. So
you actually put padding under your costume. So
yeah.
that,
So one of my hopes was that if we did get one ourselves, it would be made a little assistant friendlier. Anyway, the point is that this trick utilized shadows,
beautiful
and
trick.
some beautiful lighting and some different aspects of illusion that I hadn't done. So there were a couple of different problems that trick created for us.
Should we show a little bit of it?
You can show it if you want,
All
and
right.
then everybody's going to know what trick we're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Well, take a look at a little bit of this and keep in mind that Bobbie worked really hard on it, and here it is. we were going to be trained. But as it turned out, we were not. And we were given about 5 days to learn the entire show. And they said, you're going live on Friday.
And I was so hurt from trying to learn how to do it that
She was black and blue.
that it looked like somebody took a baseball bat to me. There were specific problems with the illusion as well. The production dancer was blonde. If we were standing side by side, she was shorter than me and much more muscular, like a gymnast. But from a distance, we were wearing basically the same costume.
Very similar costume.
And when I took over performing the illusion, I go into the illusion. You see me go in.
She kind of vanishes.
And I vanish. But outside the illusion, as part of the trick that you need, anybody could have done this. It wasn't relevant that it was her. But you have to shine a flashlight to create a shadow on the back side of it because it uses shadow. So she's crouching down holding a light, dressed in the exact same costume as me with blonde hair.
It kind of looked like Bobbie just walked out the back.
Looked like just hopped out the back and then...
And she was like, you could see her like behind it.
So,
but it wasn't you. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't me. I mean, it could have been a stage tech. It could have been a brown-haired girl holding it. It could have been anybody, but it was just the choreography. And so it was interesting because...
and that was hard because we had no creative control over a lot of that part of it. Because there was a cast of like 14 or 16 people.
It was a big cast, yeah.
And we were in charge of ourselves, but we couldn't change anything in the show, which
was already created. It was choreographed and it all flowed and it was an amazing show. We had a lot of fun being a part of it. But from a magical standpoint, had we been the ones to create the show, well, I would have had to have hired a choreographer because there's no way I could have done that.
No.
But had we advised, we might have been able to say, like, there shouldn't be somebody who looks exactly like Bobbie crouching holding the light. So yeah, there were just little things that, creatively we didn't have control over, but magically we would have liked to have had a little bit more input. And specifically that trick was extremely difficult to learn. And actually then, not just that, but moving into the water levitation also, which presented a whole new set of issues.
It's similar to the levitation we always perform, but
this one, again, was designed,
you had to do different things in it than we're used to doing.
And it had been put in the show for a very long period of time. The amount of time that I needed to levitate while getting completely soaking wet. And people didn't believe that I was wet. They didn't believe that I was getting wet.
Oh, they thought that was part of the illusion.
Yeah, and when that trick was over, I had 13 minutes to go dry my hair, recurl my hair, and come back for the next trick. So there were a lot of challenges in that show, but I have to say, for me, it was one of my favorite things because it sort of combined magic as well as a production show together. So I got to have the cast of all the singers and dancers around me while doing that.
There was so much right about it.
Absolutely amazing.
And actually, my hardest part...
I was going to say, it presented different challenges for you.
Yes. So I'm a talking performer.
And comedy.
And a comedy.
And a storyteller.
Even the illusions that we do are either narrated or they're funny.
Yeah.
And this show was not that. It was a very mysterious feeling show. And...
Give them your mysterious face. Mm-hmm. Do it. Yes. Okay, now change it up. Give us a different mysterious face. You have another one?
Yeah, no, I only got the one. I got the one.
Yeah.
Because this eyebrow goes up, this one goes down. That's all
try it
I
on
got.
The other side to go the other way. No, turn your face this way. No, turn. Oh, it's the mirror. Now make a mysterious face that way. Yes! See how mysterious he looks?
Yeah, I'm that good. But so this show was choreographed, which meant I had to be doing certain parts of the illusion, not when I want to do it, but when the music dictates it. And they're all saying, okay, you have like
2 8 counts.
2 8 counts to do this, and I'm like, uh-huh.
And I'm like, it's easy, baby.
I really don't know what that means.
You just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and go. And he's like,
no, that's.
So then I'm like, okay, listen to the music really close. Listen to the whoosh.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I don't.
If it had like really definite accents,
Yeah.
or you know, I was trying to play, I would listen to the music all the time to try and find my way through it because I couldn't do 8 counts. I like literally have no idea what that means.
There were no lyrics. It was
No
all
lyrics.
instrumental. So,
but occasionally there'd be like a cymbal here and then a little timpani or something here, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And when I hear that, then I need to start moving up. It was really awkward.
We sat in the room so many times, or I'd be like counting for him, and then I'd be like, ah, you know.
Yeah, that was how it actually had to work out. Was from a secret hiding place, Bobbie would shout across the stage, you know, move,
or now, or something, or some of the dancers would cue you two to help you out. But you know, it took probably a month of performing until you started to feel that.
Yeah, I think that was the hard part, was you know, having to get in there that fast and do it without ever having seen the show before, without ever having touched those props before. I said, I like this analogy, even though Bobbie maybe doesn't think so. They were like, well, you're a magician, just do the illusions. And I said, that's a little like talking to a concert pianist and saying, hey, you're a musician, here's a violin, play it. A really skilled concert pianist may have some insight into how a fiddle works or a violin works.
No.
But
a pianist would know music theory, but
right.
that would be a completely different instrument.
And it was like learning a completely different
like
instrument.
Having to do an illusion, you know the fundamentals of illusion. You know certain things about illusion that make them work, but you don't exactly know how to perform that specific illusion. And the difference is, for the most part, you did have to get into one of them. There might have been 6 illusions now that I remember that you did one. But for the most part, it was me doing the illusion. You know, so you just had to stand around and look mysterious a lot of the time. We're back to the magician gets all the credit for all the hard work the assistant does.
I was pretty mysterious, I gotta say.
But there were other skills too that you had to do that you didn't have a ton of, because you had to work with fire.
Right.
You had to do some of that stuff, and you weren't. You had a little bit of experience, but not a ton of experience.
Right. Well, it was kind of fun being put into a new situation because, we do our act, or I'd been doing my own act for years without a whole lot of change to it. Or if I build a new routine, if I build up a whole new presentation, I've worked on every second of it, so I knew it inside out. So to be thrown in and said, here's a whole bunch of new things and you have to do it, it was a fun, creative challenge. Yeah. And there's a lot about that show I really liked.
We had a lot of fun doing it, but it was definitely one of the hardest things, I think, at least magically, that I've been a part of. It was definitely much more complicated illusions, much more difficult illusions. And when you're putting your own show on, you will pick and choose different illusions for different reasons that fit your personality.
Right.
And any input that I would have about our show, I may be like, no, that one's too hard, let's not do that. Because I just want to do...
And you didn't have that option.
I want to perform and have fun. I don't want it to stress me out. So when we're taking inventory of our own illusions that we own, and I'm looking at our entire repertoire of illusions, there are some that I'm like, I'm not really eager to do that one again. Because it might have been too difficult, or I just never really felt like it clicked. But in this show, we finally got it, and we were really grooving when our contract pretty much came to an end.
Yeah, that's when we really had it.
Now we've really got it, and we got it. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. But
it shows you what you can do when you really have to, and you really put your mind to it.
Yeah.
You can conquer those things.
Yeah, and we probably spent, 15 minutes talking about the difficulty of one trick. But overall, yeah, it was a challenge.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it.
Have you ever had trouble with back when you had tracks that you had with the band for your own illusions before I came into the picture, and you used tracks? Did you find that you had trouble with being on beat or 8 counts or anything back then?
Yes, so I worked with, I had my own casino show that was backed by a live band, and they tried to get me to go on beat, right? And I had to train them. No, you're sitting behind me, you can see everything that I do, so you match me. And boy, that was a battle for a couple of weeks. And then they were like, okay, yeah, really, you can't. So we'll follow you.
People that can hear rhythm and/or beats. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a great dancer, but I understand timing and rhythm probably from playing the piano, or some people just have that natural ability and some don't.
Right.
It's hard for those of us who can get it to understand, because I'm like,
so
it's
far
just
away from
5, 6, 7, 8. Can't you hear the rhythm? And you're like, no.
No, and really, I'm concerning myself with the mechanics of the trick, with trying to connect with the audience. I've got all these other things in my mind. So if I had to sit there and go, all the rest of that falls apart, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, but we did find when I was working with the live band, and maybe in this show as well, after so many times of doing the show together, then it all gels. Then it all comes together. I'm not like a complete idiot. I eventually hit my stride, and then it all comes together. Yeah. But in those initial days, it had to be, no, you're behind me, look at me, and follow what I'm doing.
Well, and it just goes to show, too, that's why there's a lot of different magicians out there. And some, they're doing full-on choreography with their illusion. And that's just not something that we do.
It's amazing. It looks beautiful.
Even if you said, you be the dancer and go do it, I'm pretty sure people would run from the room screaming. So, I don't do choreography either, unless I'm forced.
You look good. You were really good.
I did okay.
You were give them your mysterious look, because you definitely. No. You were doing all this stuff.
Was I?
Oh, check it out.
Don't remember that.
You were very mysterious.
Are you sure? Apparently I was mysterious.
I've got proof. All right, well, thanks for the question, Steve. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to being back at sea with you as soon as it's physically and socially possible.
Any other questions, you guys put them in the comments so we have something else to talk about and do while we're still at home. Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.